jail on a regular basis. All of the rest of us are still, are still there. There's a large number of volunteers that go into the jail too, so that I could always, if I needed more information, I could, talk to volunteers that are dealing with specific programs that a potential inmate might be in. I also get calls lately it's about twice a month from probation officers who want to refer one of their clients to Circles of Support. I get calls from lawyers about once a month who want to refer one of their clients to Circles of Support. So the word is getting out, in a fairly small circle, but I mean that's where it's got to, where the clients are coming from. The word I think is getting around really well. I hear about it from inmates several times a week. Okay, but the larger community, we're still kind of not well known.
Do you have an assessment tool that you use to determine if the person is...
We do not have a formal assessment tool that we have. I look at their proxy scores, if you're familiar with that. It's an assessment tool. It's a down and dirty assessment that's done when they come into jail. That has just a real quick snapshot of their likelihood to reoffend. Okay. I'm looking for more about things. How bad do they want to change their lives? Everybody that's gone through, I've known well for a long time, and actually, I didn't know Justin very long. He just kind of came into town, ended up in jail, and so but the other people that came through, I've known for years, because they keep coming back to jail. It's part of that cycle, and 5 years ago. Most of them I would not have considered as possibles, but they get to a point, if they want to change their behavior bad enough, and it's a judgment call on my part, but because it's a judgment call, I involve other people. So.
Where do you place these people? A lot of people that are getting out have no place to live. So maybe they lost their residence because they went in.
No, they have lost their residence. I mean, you can just start from there as an assumption.
Or if they go back to, if they're lucky enough to have gone on to a place to be released to the same bad environment that they just left.
That's part of the equation. It certainly is part of the equation. We're not looking for people, and statistically, we have not done that well. I mean, I think it's important to say that. We have not done that well statistically, okay? But the people we haven't gone looking for people that are going to succeed whether we interfere with their lives or not. Okay, and I think that's important to look at. We're looking for people that not only want help, but have some need for help, okay? Greater or lesser degree of need. But there has to be a need there. Okay. There are a number of people that have wanted to get into programs just have personality disorders. I can't imagine anyone with a personality disorder being considered for this. Personality disorders are not treatable. Okay. Mental health is. Mental health illnesses are treatable. One's treatable and one's not. Psychopaths have personality disorders.
Well, but we're not really treating people, we're trying to influence behavior.
But part of that behavior that we're trying to influence is if they have a mental health issue, is that they're getting properly diagnosed and medicated and following the appropriate regimen. And part of it has to do with defeating those stigmas around mental health and addiction. A person that has mental health issues and addiction issues, they're not going to go away. They have to be faced at many levels.
And how good is the justice system in providing that kind of assessment, mental health support, medication, and training classes, and AA, and all that? Are they coming out with good education? Mental health problems?
No. No, they are not coming out with a good education. If they want to continue in a life of crime, they will come out better criminals. Because, at some absurd level, locking criminals up with other criminals for an extended period of time is just the dumbest thing in the world. All they do is teach each other how to be better criminals.
work, a place to stay, what you need to do is give a person hope. Find them a job when they come out, so they got work, got a place to stay. If they don't have work, what are they going to do? They're going to go right back to their criminal activity to get money in their pocket. If they don't have a place to live, or they go right back to the same system, just like he mentioned. It's the same.
Believe me, I see it every day.
You're going to get the same result.
Yeah. But it's important to recognize where our limitations are too. We do not provide those specific services. Okay? We are about relationships. Okay? We are about coming together as representing the community with somebody who may have fallen off the side of the world as far as the larger community in town is concerned. Okay? And just trying to reestablish relationships. Now, some of that, and it might be best to let Justin talk a little bit about how he utilized the circle and what it was good for and what it wasn't good for. But if you need a job and somebody in your circle has some connections, they will probably use those connections. But it's not going to you're not going to be in a position coming out of jail to make those connections with your circle to get the job until you're already out of jail. I understand those immediate issues getting out are huge. Okay, but we need to also realize where our limitations are.
Back home where I'm from, they would dump people on the street at 3 in the morning with no money in their pocket. Do they do that here? Do they release people in the middle of the night?
No.
Okay,
No. They release them generally at 10 o'clock in the morning without any money in their pocket.
Yeah.
Except what they need.
Yeah, and they may be able to stay at Salvation Army, or there are some resources. At least that's been my experience with our core member. He has had some resources. They're limited, and you have to have your ducks in a row, and you have to have there's lots of requirements, and if you mess up, you're out of luck. No, the circle is not right there as they come out of jail. They have a first appointment, and usually meet at a coffee house or something. And the coordinator is there the first time too, and then the group decides when and where they're going to meet each week. So you can see that the purpose really is more that social support system, but that can include sitting down and making that list of everything that needs to be done, and having people who can each week be there to say, how are things going? Let's look at the list. How are things going? And supporting them through the challenges that come up, because there are always challenges that come up. It depends on the person. Many people don't need to be taken to they know where to go, and but I'm sure there's been a circle who has actually done driving, but most of the people in our program don't need that. They know where to go. It's a different kind of support.
And there have been a couple instances as well where I've been able to match up the circle with somebody before this guy gets or gal.
Yes.
It's out of jail.
So they have their first meeting before release.
Well, his wife's in jail.
Yeah, that would be great.
So it's not a cold meeting when.
The other thing, I'd like to throw one other thing out too, is that even we're a congregation-based, church-based organization. We're not responsible for anybody's salvation. Okay. Okay. We need to tailor each and every circle with the needs of the person, the core person in the middle, and those needs vary madly. I mean, they vary incredibly. I'm just thinking of the two extremes, probably three extremes of the needs that we've had for people, and some of it has been that basic stuff like sitting down every week and charting the course for next week that includes a daily routine redone every week because it's got lost, about taking their meds every day. Okay, about what appointments do you have? How are you going to get there? Okay. One fellow had no contact with the public library. Okay, he could not go to the public library by himself, and he liked to read, so that was a big problem. Okay, so working with him to talk to his circle to plan to get somebody to go to the library with him, it sounds like a really simple thing, and he struggled with it. I mean, he struggled with it a lot, but in the end was successful with that piece of it. Okay, so it varies a lot. A lot.
Got a question?
Yeah.
I heard what you said about, the way you described that you've got the core person at the center and you've got 5 other people in the circle,
Yes.
which I imagine would bring a lot of different styles of support and life experiences, which makes kind of the circle unique.
Absolutely, yeah.
But having said that, do you draw on any other type of reintegration philosophies or strategies that are out there?
No, we haven't. At least so far, our intention and our really conscious decision has been to just let it be a friendship. So people just draw on their own life experience and their own desire to help, and so that looks different for every person. Dwayne.
And in response to that, at different times, different needs are being addressed by core members. For instance, one man got evicted, and he had 2 days to get out of his apartment. So, luckily, I have a pickup truck, and we got in touch with another friend of ours, and were able to help this guy with his heavier stuff. Now, I'm tore up and floor up, so I couldn't lift his toe. But my truck was there, my friend's truck was there, and simple stuff like that. Different ideas about where to go for housing. Say, she mentioned Salvation Army and that kind of thing. Different suggestions that people aren't aware of, how to get in touch with stuff like, we'll be training about 211 and stuff like that, so that core members can be directed by the team who have an idea of the resources available to us to help that person in this stuff. And the big thing is we're able to direct them so they don't have to go back to their old resources, the old playgrounds, playmates, and playthings kind of thing, and get on with life in sort of a, I hate to use the word normal fashion, but people who aren't in the quote criminal element.
Yeah. But your example, Dwayne, of helping him move out is a perfect example of that safety net. Where if you had not been able to do that for him, the stress level of having that happen and scrambling and trying to get your stuff out, it can be catastrophic. I mean, a person can really, an addict can very easily relapse in that kind of situation. But just knowing that you have people there, if nothing else for moral support when something like that happens, is tremendously valuable. So, yeah.
If the 6-month time frame and it's a friendship, how do you terminate that friendship after 6 months, or what kind of thing do you have in place?
Each circle decides. So, and the circle can continue past 6 months if they want to. And so I can only tell you what the outcome has been for each of the circles that are currently running, and it basically is the whole range from one circle whose person is basically doing well enough and not